Hello, beautiful people. Welcome or welcome back to Alexis Faye Yoga. I am so very glad that you've decided to join me today. Today we are doing a full body yoga flow with a Savasana at the end. So go ahead and roll out your mat and let's hop into it. Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to another week of yoga. Sending that right foot back. Now we're going to begin this class on our mats, laying nice and flat on our backs. Reaching forward with the toes. With an in-breath, we'll circle the arms up overhead and reach towards the back of our mat. Full body stretch. And we'll start to bring our attention to our breath here. With our in-breath, filling the abdomen fill with air as the belly button reaches up to the ceiling. With our exhale, we'll let the body soften towards the floor. Let the belly button rest towards the spine. With our next exhale, we're going to cactus the arms, bringing elbows alongside the shoulders. Fingers are still reaching to the back of our mat. And we're pressing down with the elbows and the wrists. Circle the hands down towards the body. We can bring them alongside the hips, or we can bring them to the abdomen. We're going to point our chin straight up to the ceiling, or a little past straight up. So we're reaching with the chin to stretch out the front of the neck. And bringing the eyes, the neck back to a more neutral plane. Now we're going to turn the head to look over to our left side. Up through center and over to our right side. We're going to slowly move back and forth. Bringing our chin over to our shoulder. Up through center and to the other shoulder. Bringing the eyes straight ahead again. We'll pause here and pull the shoulders a little bit further away from the ears. And then we'll walk the bottoms of the feet in so that they can plant on the floor. Now, if you notice that you have a hollow space in your back, we can lift and rotate the hips to plant them firmly down. We're going to walk the bottoms of the feet towards the outer edges of the mat. So we're taking a wider stance with the feet and find a windshield wipering back and forth, dropping both knees over to one side, up through center and over to the other side. Back through center again, knees go up to the ceiling. We'll heel toe the feet in line with the hips, rechecking that low back to make sure we're nice and firm to the floor. Before picking up our feet, we're going to bring our knees to a 90-degree angle, and then we can add some added pressure to just below the knees with the hands, pressing the hands into the knees into the hands, so that we start engaging through the core. Now you could do as much pressing as you'd like, or as little pressing as you'd like, depending on how much of a core work you're wanting to get out of this. Continuing to breathe easy, full breaths in and full breaths back out. Now we can remove the pressure of the hands, or we can keep them if we're wanting that core workout. But we're going to bicycle the legs, extending one long, taking it down to the floor, lifting it and bringing it back in, extending the other long, bringing it back in, back and forth. Now we can continue to press on our bent leg, or we can take the pressure out completely and focus on out, down, in. Good. We'll extend the right leg out long and drop it all the way down to the floor. We'll bring the left knee up to the chest with the arms to give it a nice big squeeze here. Now we're finding some hip circles. We can place our left palm on top of the knee and reach the knee out to our sides into the chest and around. Or we don't need the hand if you're feeling confident in your hips today. Good. We'll bring that left knee back in for another big squeeze to the chest, and we'll move to a gentle twist. That left knee will go across our right side. We'll extend the left arm out from the shoulder, and the eyes can stay up to the ceiling, or they can move over to our left hand. Slowly untwisting, we'll bring our left hip down to the mat again. Another big squeeze to our left leg, and we'll switch legs. The left will go long out in front and settle down. Our right knee will come up to the chest for a nice big squeeze. Now hip circles on this side. You can use the palm to guide the knee around in some large looping circles. Good. We'll bring the knee into the chest, and then a gentle twist on this side. That right knee will go over to our left side. Our right arm will extend out, and our eyes can stay up to the ceiling or over to our right hand. Untwisting the spine, settling the hips down to the floor. We'll give the right knee another hug and bring the left leg up as well, wrapping both legs in the arms. And we'll find a little rocking side to side. And now maybe forward and back. As we make our way to standing mountain pose, we'll bring ankles under knees, under hips. Pick up the toes, spread them out nice and wide and set them down. We'll lift the shoulders up to the ears, work them back and down from the front body. Gently tucking the chin in to bring the ears over the shoulders. And we'll find a few deep breaths here as we press down through those toes. We'll walk the feet towards the outer edges of our mat, moving to a happy elephant, extending the arms out wide. We'll twist open one direction. We'll twist the other back and forth, letting the arms move of their own free will as we wake up the shoulders, the hips, the spine. With our exhale, slowly run out of momentum. Coming to rest by our sides, we'll walk the bottoms of the feet back in towards that mountain pose. With our next inhale, reaching the arms up to the ceiling. Exhale, we'll press the hips back behind us as we hinge forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale to fold. And we'll stay here for a little bit, finding a way to wiggle out. Now we can grab our opposite elbows and find a sway to the upper body. We can elephant walk or pedal out the legs by rocking onto the toes, bending the knee on one leg, and setting the heel down and moving up on the other leg. With our next inhale, we'll find a halfway lift. Engage the core, reach along with the top of the head. Exhale to fold. We'll drop the hands down towards the floor, sweep them out to the side. We'll lift up from the chest as we make our way back to standing. Exhale, cactus the arms. We'll pull the scapulas, the shoulder blades into the spine so that we're long across the collarbones in the front of the chest. From here, we can find a baby back bend if you'd like by lifting the chin up and the eyes up and the chest up. Exhale, we'll bring the eyes forward again. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. And we'll drop the arms straight down as we nod the head yes. And we'll shake the head no. Dropping the very tippity top of the head to the floor. We're going to imagine the head and the hands being really, really heavy. So they're going to reach down to the lower as we slowly roll our spine up. Ragdolling our way, starting at the base of the spine, down by the hips, rolling one vertebrae up past the next, moving as slowly as you'd like, in a very controlled manner. Once we get to the top of our back up towards the shoulders, then we'll lift the arms, and last we'll lift the head. We'll do a few shoulder rolls or some shoulder shrugs here. With an inhale, reaching the arms up to the ceiling. Exhale, cactus the arms, optional baby back bend, or we can keep the eyes forward. Inhale to lift. Now we're going to move our weight into our right foot so that we can pick up our left. We're going to reach it back behind us and set the heel down. Now pressing the hips back, we're going to reach the arms out in front as we slowly soften our way to the floor. Now we can bring hands to our right leg or hands to the floor. But we're still pressing back on those hips so that we have a long spine from our hinge. We'll add a little bit of a bend to our right leg, and we'll take our eyes about a foot out in front of our right foot so that we can pop our way onto our right leg and move to a warrior 3. Now we can reach the hands back to our toes in an airplane, or we can bring hands into heart center or out in front. With our inhale, we'll drive the left knee out in front of us and lift the knee up to the ceiling. Exhale, we'll soften that left leg down to the floor and wiggle out a little. Bringing the feet back to our mountain pose. With an inhale, reaching tall to the ceiling. Exhale, cactus the arms, shoulder blades pull in. Inhale to lift, move your weight into your left foot. We'll pick up the right, set it down behind us, drop the heel, press the hips towards the back of the mat as we really reach out in front of us, hinging forward towards our left leg. We'll add a little bend into our left leg, taking the eyes out in front of the left foot, shifting onto the left, and extending the right leg back behind, warrior 3. Inhale, we'll drive our right knee up and up to the ceiling. Exhale, soften that right leg down, and we'll wiggle out some more, making our way to the top of the mat. With a big inhale, we'll reach up. Exhale, hinging from the waist, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale to fold. We'll drop the hands to the floor. Step or hop our way back to a plank pose. We'll spread the fingertips out nice and wide so that we can really press down through the ends of the fingers. Now from here, we can always drop the knees down to the mat, or we can keep them lifted, but we're going to shift forward. Elbows come into the rib cage as we lower down to the floor. Untuck the toes. Inhale, lift the chest, baby cobra. Exhale to soften. We'll extend the hands up past the top of the mat and then out further, so they're diagonal from the corners of the top of our mat. With an inhale, tenting onto the fingertips, and again we'll find a baby cobra, lifting the chest, lifting the whole upper body. Now, if you notice that your neck hurts in this pose, keep your eyes straight down on the floor. So we're working from our chest, our whole trunk, and not straining the neck. After we've done 3 of these cobras, we'll slide the hands underneath of the shoulders, tuck the toes under, press up to a plank, and then we'll press the hips up and back behind, down dog. Now we'll wiggle out here however feels right to you today. Whether that's pedal out the legs, or if that's swiveling out the hips. We'll extend our left leg back behind, reaching with the toes, and then circling the ankle out one way and around the other. We'll bring our left knee up to the chest as we shift forward, bringing shoulders over the wrist, and then we'll step that left foot down, pressing into both feet. We'll take a full breath in and an even larger breath back out. We'll scooch the hands to the inside of that left leg as we move to a lizard pose. So we can walk our left foot out towards the outer edge of our mat. We can roll it onto the pinky side of the foot. We can drop the right knee down. But we'll find some way for us to soften the hips in a semi-comfortable manner. Now we'll bring the hands back underneath of the chest if we've moved them anywhere else. Pressing into the right hand. With our inhale, we'll reach the left arm straight up to the ceiling or a little bit behind us to find a twist. Exhale, circle the hands around, bringing them both down to the floor. We'll tuck the right toes under, lift the leg. Now from here, we can either send the foot back from the outside of our hands, or we can heel toe walk that left foot in between our hands before sending it up and back, 3-legged dog, to our down dog. Other side, we'll extend our right leg back behind, reaching with the toes. Now circling the ankle out one way and around the other. We'll bring the right knee to the chest as we shift forward and step the foot down. Full breath in, even larger breath back out. Lizard pose on this side. We can drop our left knee down. We can walk the foot towards the outer edges of the mat. But we're going to soften the hips and maybe shine the chest forward. Walking the hands underneath of the chest, we'll press into the left hand. With an inhale, reach the right arm up, or open up a little further with our twist. Exhale, we'll circle that hand back around. Now we can walk the foot to the inside of our hands, or we can keep it on the outside. We'll tuck the left toes under, lift the right leg, press it up and back behind. Three-legged dog to our down dog. Now we can add an optional vinyasa here, shifting forward to chaturanga, to an up dog or a cobra. Or we can stay here in our down dog and wiggle out further. We'll extend our left leg back behind. Bring it up to the chest, shift forward, step it down. Full breath in. Even larger breath back out. We'll press down through both feet to help us lift the upper body. Warrior one or a high lunge. With our exhale, we'll circle the arms back behind the body, grabbing for fingers by interlocking them, or for a wrist. We're going to pull the shoulders back and down the spine. Now we can stay here with our chest and our eyes forward, or we can add a little back bend by pulling the hands towards the floor. We'll slowly lift back, taking eyes and chest forward, releasing the hands out and extending them up to the ceiling. We'll press down through the left leg to bring it towards straight. If your right foot is still floating, we'll drop the heel down, reaching the hips back behind us as we shift forward, reaching long with the fingertips as we find a pyramid pose. We'll add a bend into our front foot, into our left foot, taking the eyes about a foot out in front of that left foot, pressing into the left to help us lift the right. Now we can keep the fingertips down on the floor if we'd like, or we can lift up to our warrior three. We'll press our right knee through, out in front, and up towards the ceiling. With our exhale, we're going to drape our right shin across our left quad, pressing right toes towards the floor as we move to a figure four. Hips will go back behind as we add a little more of a bend to the left leg. Now, with our hips, we're going to scoop them under. So we're adding more of a roll to our lower spine to help decompress a little. With our inhale, lifting up from the chest, we'll bring right knee up, out in front. Press the heel back behind as we hinge, warrior three, to our high lunge or warrior one. Now we're going to drop our left hand down to our right leg, or we'll wrap it around our back. our right hand is going to draw a line up over top of our body on the ceiling and reach back slightly behind us. Bringing the chest and the arm forward, we'll untwist our left arm, cartwheeling the arm, and pivoting us over to our right side, warrior two. Now extending out through our left leg, hip will go back behind. We'll reach out in front with the left arm and find our Trikonasana, our triangle pose, reaching right arm towards the ceiling. Inhale, floating the body back up. We'll bring hands to heart center, and we're going to drop back to our right leg. Inhale to lift, pick up your left toes. We'll pivot them over to our side mat, bringing feet so they're parallel or toes are slightly in. With our exhale, we'll press those hips back behind, wide-legged forward fold. Now finding a way to wiggle out, to play here. We can sway the upper body side to side. We can walk the hands a step further out in front and find a wide-legged down dog, or find a forward and back shift. We can walk the hands back behind the body through the legs, or we can drop the forearms down and play with an inversion. We'll bring the hands underneath of the chest again, walking or swaying our way over to our right foot. Walking or swaying to our left foot. And we're going to slowly start pivoting around so that left foot is forward again. As we make our way to our lunge, planting the hands down, lifting the leg up and back, three-legged dog, to our down dog, wiggling out here, and we'll extend the right leg back. Bending at the knee, driving the foot forward. Full breath in. Even larger breath back out. Press down through the feet. We'll lift up from here for our warrior one or our high lunge. Circling the arms back behind, we'll interlock the fingers or grab for the wrist, pull shoulders back and down. And we can add that optional back bend by dragging the hands towards the floor, lifting the chest, lifting the eyes, and lifting the chin. Slowly lifting back up, bringing chest and eyes forward. We'll unwrap the arms, extending the right leg long. Now if our back heel is floating, we'll drop it down. Turn the hips towards the top. We'll press the hips back behind as we reach out in front, hinging forward, pyramid pose. a bend into our front foot. We'll take the eyes about a foot out in front of us. As we lift up onto our right, extend to the left back. Warrior 3. Driving the left knee forward as we bring it out in front of the chest and reach it up to the ceiling. Exhale, we'll drape it across the right leg. Figure 4, point the left toes to the floor. We'll hinge back, softening through the right leg. Now with those hips, we're going to scoop them under. So we're trying to decompress the low back. Inhale to lift, removing the left, lifting it out in front. And then we're going to press back with that left heel. Warrior 3 to our Warrior 1. Inhale, both arms go up. Our right arm is going to come to our left leg or around our back. Our left arm is going to lift up and over and slightly behind the body. Inhale, we'll come back to a more neutral, eyes and chest forward, unwrapping the right arm, switching arms around. Warrior 2, pivot the back foot. And now lengthen out through the right leg. Hips will go back to the back of the mat. Arm will reach up to the front. We'll cartwheel and move to our triangle pose. The left arm reaches tall to the ceiling. And the eyes can stay down on our right hand or up towards our left hand. Inhale, we'll float the body back up. Hands come to heart center, dropping back towards our left leg. Inhale to lift. We'll lift up our right toes. Pivot them to our side mat. This time we'll bring heels in towards center and toes will point away. Now we're going to start by scooping those hips forward, pressing the pelvis out in front. And then we're going to drop straight down like we're going to sit on a ball or onto a chair as we move to our goddess pose or our crab pose. Now we can keep hands at heart center. We can drop them down to our legs. We can reach them up to the ceiling or to a cactus. As long as we're not compressing or losing our integrity in the low back, as long as we're not pressing the hips behind us. Now we're going to find some movement here in this pose. We can find a little sway side to side. We can lift one or both heels up off the mat, set them down and do the other side. Or we can find more of a Pilates movement here. And we'll find a little pulse down and up, a little bounce. Good. Inhale, we'll extend the legs out long. Lift the chest as we reach the arms out towards our sides, towards the ceiling. Full body stretch in our star pose. Bringing the arms down. We're going to press the hips back behind us, put a bend to the legs. Wiggle out a little bit, and we'll find a twist. We'll bring our right shoulder over towards our left leg. Inhale through center. Left shoulder over towards our right leg. And back to center. Lifting up through both legs again, and we'll start heel toeing into center. Making our way to the top of the mat. With an inhale, we'll reach tall. Exhale, hinging from the waist, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. We'll plant the hands down, step or hop back to our plank. We'll drop both heels over to our right side, moving our weight into our right hand to pick up the left side plank. Exhale, back through center, drop the left hand down, center plank. We'll drop both heels over to our left side, lift the right arm up, side plank. Exhale, back through center, center plank. We can drop the knees down, or we can shift forward with them up to a chaturanga, up dog or our cobra, and our down dog. We'll slide the hands one hand's distance, or a little ways closer towards our toes, pushing the hips up and back behind, adding a little more bend to the knees. Good. We'll shift forward, bringing shoulders over the wrist as we slowly drop the knees down to the mat. Tabletop. Wrists under shoulders, knees under hips. With our inhale, we'll lift the eyes, lift the chest forward. Take the tailbone up and drop the stomach. Exhale, curl into center, chin to chest, tailbone under. And we'll press up through the mid-back. Back and forth with our cat, cows. We'll make our way back through our tabletop. Walking the knees towards the outer edges of the mat. We'll bring big toes into touch or to point at each other. Left hand will scooch into center. Inhale, we'll reach right arm towards the ceiling. Then we're going to thread it through the left side, reaching that right arm as far as we can through before we soften the side of the face and the shoulder down. We'll press through our left hand to help us unthread the right, reach the right up, and we'll bring it down. Full breath here. And with our next inhale, reach the left up. Exhale, thread the left through the right, reaching as far to our side as we can before softening down to the mat. Pressing into the right hand, unthreading the left, lifting it up, and bringing it down. We'll bring the knees back in underneath of the hips or together all the way to touching, shifting back to sit on the heels. Now we're going to pause here. So if it is uncomfortable immediately to sit like this, try tucking your toes under that might help. Or it might be more uncomfortable as you stretch the bottoms of the feet. If it is, you can always circle the legs around and sit crisscross applesauce. Now we're going to bring our peace sign, our pointer and middle finger, to our chin. We're gently going to press the chin back so that we're adding some extra little chins here. Or we're squishing the front of the neck. With our left hand or our other hand, we'll bring it to the back of our head. So we're pushing the head back, and then we'll roll chin to chest. We can make micro adjustments side to side to find the right spot, the spot that feels really good to release and stretch in the neck or the upper back. With an inhale, we'll slowly bring the eyes up as we remove the added pressure from both hands. Now we're going to make our way onto the floor in a seated position with our legs out in front. So we can roll over the ankles, or we can take both legs over to one side and around. We'll scoot towards the middle of the mat because we're going to eventually make our way down to our Savasana. Now, walking our way kind of forward with the legs to help us roll the pelvis back so we can sit up nice and tall here. We're going to point both feet up to the ceiling and then engage up the legs. So the kneecaps will gently pull towards the hips. The heels might lift off the floor, they might not. Now focusing on our posture, we'll sit up nice and tall from our hips. Reach the top of the head straight up. We can take arms straight up to the ceiling as well, or we can bring hands to our shoulders if your shoulders are not feeling that stretch. And we're going to pause here and really pay attention to our posture. This pose is awesome because it is working all of the core containment muscles here. With the reach up, we're working the lats, we're probably working the low back, we're working the hip flexors and the front of the core as we shift forward. So at the end of each exhale, we're going to recheck that posture, sitting us up just a little bit taller, reaching a little bit higher. Exhale, we'll circle the arms down towards the floor and wiggle out as we bring the bottoms of the feet into plant. We're going to shift to the upper body back, engaging through the core, pulling ribs and hip bones a little closer together. Arms will reach alongside the knees, and we can keep the big toes down on the floor. We can bring the shins parallel to the floor, or we can fully lengthen out through both legs, finding a challenging boat pose as we're moving to our Savasana next. We're going to stay here for 5 breaths. And we'll slowly start softening down to the floor. Back to our full body stretch. Reaching the toes out in front and the arms behind us to the back of the mat. we'll wiggle out slightly as we make our way to our Savasana, finding a comfortable, restful place to be in your body today, whatever that means for you. We'll close the eyes as we take a large breath in through the nose and let it go as a sigh. With our next big exhale, we'll drop the shoulders a little further away from the ears. Now we'll soften the muscles of the face, muscles around the eyes, the nose, the mouth. We'll relax them out towards the ears. We'll add a little more space between our upper and lower teeth to help us relax the jaw. With our next exhale, we'll soften all of our pressure points, all of the areas that are pressing down into the floor, allowing us to soften a little further. And we'll start to bring our attention out of our body into our breath. We're going to take large breaths in through the nose and even bigger breaths back out, fully letting go of the breath. Bring in another large breath through the nose. And let it go as a sigh. As we start inviting some movement back into the body, wiggling the fingers and wiggling the toes. Now when you feel ready, we'll roll to one side and take our moment of gratitude here. Thank yourself for coming to your mat today, for taking this time out of your day to refocus on you, how you move, how you breathe, how you think, and talk to yourself. Now give yourself a nice big mental or physical hug. And you can start making your way to seated. We'll close the eyes one last time as we take a large breath in through the nose and release it as a sigh. Thank you so very much for joining me today. It is always such a joy and an honor to get to spend this time with you. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Be sure to like and subscribe to this video. That really helps me out. Now, go in love, go in light, go in peace, and go in joy.